So there's this amazing quote that I heard quite some time ago, many years ago. Resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And this felt so true for me. How long ago now? Maybe over a year ago, where this quote was coming into my mind, and it felt so real. Like I really had been taking the poison and waiting for the other person to die. I could feel the poison of resentment in my body. And at the time, it really felt like this resentment was toward my partner. It was definitely being projected toward him, and I really felt like I was resentful because of him. But I saw and I could feel how deeply it was impacting me, my health, my sanity. And so I set the intention for that month. I set my intention every month of something that I'm working through, journeying through, desiring. And so I set the intention to release this resentment. I could see how it wasn't benefiting me to hold on to it, wasn't benefiting my relationship, and it was time to let it go. And so I set that intention and I let it go, and I really allowed myself to be supported and guided through this process. And pretty much instantly and throughout the entire month, I was guided through really deep processes of becoming more aware around what I was actually resentful toward, because it wasn't actually my partner like I had thought. There was actually deep resentment toward myself. There was this story of, you're not supporting me, you're not showing up for me, you're not doing this for me. And I was saying a lot of this toward my partner, but when I really felt into it, it was actually for many, many years, I wasn't supporting myself. I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't supporting myself to go after what I really wanted, to create what I really wanted to create. And I was holding myself back for so long out of fear and out of protection. And now I was in this time where I was putting myself out there. I was creating what I'd wanted to create for so long, running retreats, traveling all over New Zealand, running workshops, and doing all the things that I'd wanted to do for so many years. And it was actually bringing up this deep pain of how long I had held myself back, and how in many areas I still was holding myself back. And so as I began to unravel and really become aware of what was deep beneath the surface, because this resentment that I was projecting at my partner, you're not doing this, you're not showing up like this, you're not supporting me this way, all of that was the surface layer. There was so much more beneath. And when I was willing and courageous enough to really go beneath the surface and to meet this, that's where the deep healing really took place. And it released this heaviness that I had been carrying for so long. And in releasing that heaviness, it released a lot of that pressure and that heaviness on my relationship. And in that, it allowed our relationship to completely transform. So as I was shedding these layers and healing these deep wounds, I was sharing the process with my partner. So he was part of it. He was there. He was present. He was holding space for me as I moved through this process and became aware of how I was actually causing a lot of my pain and suffering. But there was no judgment from him. He was able just to really hold space because I was allowing him to do that. I was letting him in. For so long, I didn't let him in because, again, I was protecting myself, feeling unsafe to let him fully in because of all the times that I had been hurt previously. And so this was quite a deep and profound process, and there were many layers to this. It wasn't just a kind of one-off breakthrough. It was a series of events that happened throughout that month. And it's also something that I continue to move through. And this is something that I'm going to be diving a lot deeper into inside my Deeply Connected Couples program that's coming up. It's starting June 1st. We're going to go more into how to really dissolve this resentment, how to release it, how to get to the root of what's actually going on, because a lot of the time it's not what's on the surface that's actually causing the pain that you're experiencing. There's so much deeper. We tend to fixate on like what's happening right now, what's in the present, and we look around thinking that what's happening right now is what's actually triggering us. But when there's a trigger, when there's resentment, there's actually a lot more going on beneath the surface. And there's also a lot of parts of you that are aching to be heard, aching to be seen and acknowledged and given that attention and that love and that presence. And we often don't know how to do that for ourselves because we haven't been taught, we haven't witnessed it, we haven't learned how to do that. And so over many, many years, that's what I have been learning to do for myself, is to hold that space, to meet myself with compassion, to support myself through these processes, rather than punishing myself and criticizing and putting myself down for the ways that I'm showing up, or punishing someone else for the ways that they're showing up or not showing up. And I've really learned to take that self-responsibility, but from a place of deep self-compassion. So we're going to explore all of this and so much more inside Deeply Connected Couples. If you are interested in joining, reach out, send me a message, and I'll get you all the info. Sending you so much love. What I would invite you to do, if this is a message that is resonating with you today, is to get curious. If you do notice that you are holding on to resentment, just getting curious about what is that revealing to you, what is beneath, and just going into some contemplation around that of